Spotlights, secrets, and scandalous whispers. Hollywood hides enough twists to fill 1,000 scripts. But the juiciest stories? They belong to the queer icons rewriting history in real time. Welcome to Silent Fame, where we unmask the industry's most jaw-dropping LGBTQ+ revelations. First loves kept off camera, contracts that demanded closets stay locked, and the fearless rebels who tore those doors clean off their hinges. Each episode, we dig deeper than the tabloids ever dared, exposing the hidden threads connecting fame, identity, and power. Think you know Hollywood? Think again. Smash subscribe, ring that bell, and join a community that refuses to let these secrets stay silent. Because the next shockwave is already waiting in the wings, and you'll want a front row seat. 1. Timothée Chalamet, the queer-coded prince of Gen Z. Timothée Chalamet is a Hollywood heartthrob who makes you question everything you thought you knew about masculinity. With his delicate features and soulful eyes, he came onto the scene quietly. More art kid than alpha male, more poetry than posturing. It all crystallized with Call Me By Your Name, a film that left a generation breathless. On screen, he gave us Elio, a portrayal so tender and real that countless queer teens saw themselves in his hesitation and longing. Timothée never had to say, "I'm queer." In fact, he's never publicly claimed any label, yet somehow, his presence felt like permission to be different. He's been embraced as an unexpected queer icon, and he never distanced himself from that love. He even famously rocked a glittering harness on the red carpet, pairing lace and velvet with a confidence that made it look effortlessly cool. In interviews, he spoke softly about love and art without drawing lines around who he could be. For young people still finding themselves, he became a quiet revolution, proof that masculinity can be gentle and beautiful without losing power. He showed that you don't have to shout to be heard. Simply by existing authentically, he gave others the courage to do the same. Drop a 1 if you think Timothée changed the game just by showing up. 2. JoJo Siwa, the teenage trailblazer of unapologetic pride. JoJo Siwa spent her childhood in a giant sparkly bow, lighting up TV screens as the girl every kid adored. But at 17, JoJo did something revolutionary. She came out, rainbow bow and all, and embraced her truth. Never before had someone with such a young, impressionable fanbase publicly identified as queer. She knew it was risky. Almost immediately, some parents swore they'd never let their kids watch her again. JoJo read the backlash and wondered if her entire empire might crumble. But then she straightened her bow and decided she wouldn't hide who she is for anyone. If being herself cost some fans, she didn't want them anyway. Instead, she turned her platform into a beacon. She made history on Dancing with the Stars by pairing with a same-sex partner, twirling across the stage with pure joy and defiance. To every young fan who felt different, JoJo became the big sister saying, "It's okay, you are not alone." In her, they saw that being true to yourself might cost a few fair-weather followers, but it gains you something priceless: self-worth and freedom. Her Technicolor confidence showed a new generation that growing up gay can mean shining just as bright. Drop a 2 if you think JoJo changed the game just by showing up. 3. Jacob Elordi, the enigmatic heartthrob who kept us guessing. What do you see when you look at Jacob Elordi? A Hollywood heartthrob or a beautiful mystery? He shot to fame in the kissing booth as the straight teenage dream, but the more the world watched, the more questions arose. Fans dissected his every soft-spoken interview and fashion choice. Was that a pearl necklace on a leading man? Did he just quote poetry? With each quiet rebellion, Jacob expanded the definition of what a young male idol could be. He never offered answers about his private life, and that only fueled the intrigue. Portraying the volatile, secretive Nate in Euphoria only intensified the buzz. Off-screen, Jacob mused about masculinity and vulnerability and refused to fit into any box. He once admitted bullies called him gay for doing school plays, but instead of feeling less than a man, he started welcoming the femininity in himself. In a culture desperate for labels, Jacob gave none. Some critics accused him of baiting, others felt seen. But through it all, he lived on his own terms, wearing what he wanted and loving who he loved in private. And maybe that's the point. Not everyone owes an answer. By staying an enigma, Jacob made space for every kid still figuring it out. He showed that sometimes not defining yourself is the freest thing of all. Drop a 3 if you think Jacob Elordi changed the game just by showing up. 4. Lil Nas X, the maverick who broke the Old Town Road. Lil Nas X rode into fame as a country rap cowboy, taking Old Town Road all the way to number 1. But his boldest move came while that song still topped the charts. He came out, shattering one of music's last closets. As a teen, he once thought he'd die with The Secret, rather than face the hate. Instead, he flipped the script and became something he never saw growing up, an unapologetically queer superstar in genres that had none. And he did it with flair. One moment, he's in a hot pink rhinestone cowboy suit. The next, he's sliding down a pole in the Montero video to give the devil a lap dance. Every time critics told him to tone it down, he turned it up even louder. He said he 100% wants to represent the LGBT community, and he lives it, kissing a male dancer on live TV, clapping back at homophobes with memes, and turning his fame into fuel for queer visibility. For LGBTQ youth, especially Black queer kids who never saw themselves at the top of the charts, Lil Nas X is a beacon. The Trevor Project found over 80% of LGBTQ teens feel better about themselves when they see queer celebrities, and Nas gives them that hope. In a world that told him to stay hidden, he strutted front and center, and a new generation feels freer because of it. Drop a 4 if you think Lil Nas X changed the game just by showing up. 5. Manu Ríos, the heartthrob with a quiet queer aura. Manu Ríos is a new kind of heartthrob, one with a quiet, unmistakable queer aura. The Spanish actor-model could have coasted on his flawless face and 10 million Instagram followers, but he offers something more. Every smoldering selfie, every gender-bending fashion shoot, every tender scene he plays on Netflix's Elite makes fans wonder, what's behind those soulful eyes? Manu has never labeled his sexuality, and he doesn't need to. His vibe blurs all the lines. One day he's in a lace shirt with painted nails, the next in a sharp suit, never apologizing for mixing masculine and feminine. He even tweeted that people who use gay as an insult are so sad, LOL, making it clear where he stands without ever coming out. To countless young fans, especially in the Spanish-speaking world, Manu's mystique is a lifeline. They see a beautiful young man who doesn't play by the old machismo rules, someone gentle, artistic, and unafraid of a little sparkle. He proves that visibility isn't always about loud declarations. Sometimes it's in a soft glance or an unspoken truth. By simply existing on his own terms, Manu gives others permission to do the same. Drop a 5 if you think Manu Ríos changed the game just by showing up. 6. Kristen Stewart, the rebel who went from Twilight to Trailblazer. Kristen Stewart had the world watching her fairy tale romance in Twilight. But when she stepped off the Hollywood script and started living her own truth, she truly changed the game. At the height of her fame, studio execs hinted she'd get bigger roles if she stopped holding her girlfriend's hand in public. Kristen's response? Pure rebellion. "I don't want to work with people like that," she said flatly. And then proceeded to do the exact opposite of hiding. She cut her hair short, showed up to premieres in Converse sneakers, and unapologetically walked red carpets hand in hand with the women she loved. Here was one of Hollywood's brightest young actresses casually shattering the old rule that women had to stay in the closet to survive. Kristen never liked labels. She talks about how people today are incredibly ambiguous, and it's a gorgeous thing. And she never needed to pin her identity down with one word. Whether in a tuxedo or a gown, dating a man or engaged to a woman, she exudes a cool confidence that made queerness visible in an industry that used to shut it out. She proved you can be an A-list movie star and live your truth. In doing so, she made Hollywood a little braver and a lot more honest. Drop a 6 if you think Kristen Stewart changed the game just by showing up. 7. Jacob Rott, the TikTok prince, redefining masculinity. Jacob Rott never needed to say a word to make an impact. With a sharp jawline and effortless style, this German TikTok star rose to fame as part of the viral Elevator Boys crew. But Jacob was different. In a sea of loud influencers chasing clout, he stood out by embracing quiet confidence. His videos were all slow-motion stares and chic outfits. A soft smile here, a playful dance move there. Fans flooded the comments. Is he gay? Straight? What's his deal? Jacob never answered. He never put a label on himself. And that silence became part of his power. He lived comfortably in ambiguity. One day in a lace shirt with pearls, the next in a tailored suit. Always stylish, always unapologetically himself. In doing so, Jacob offered a new kind of male ideal for a generation tired of macho rules. For queer teens scrolling TikTok, especially those unsure where they fit, he became something precious. Proof that you don't have to have it all figured out to be confident. He made it okay to just be. He showed that masculinity can be pretty and gentle, without losing an ounce of strength. And that magnetism doesn't always come with a label. Sometimes a quiet, knowing smile can say more than any declaration. Drop a 7 if you think Jacob Rott changed the game just by showing up. 8. Troye Sivan, the pop star who bared his soul from day one. Troye Sivan did something almost unheard of in pop music. He came out as gay before his first song even hit the charts. At 18, as he was signing his record deal, Troye uploaded a YouTube video telling the world who he was. Because, as he put it, "I want to live without fear." From that moment, he built his career with nothing to hide. In his music videos, boys fall in love with boys. His lyrics celebrate queer romance. His song Bloom is an unabashed ode to gay intimacy. On the red carpet, Troye might wear a sleek suit with a pearl choker, an androgynous style that's helped make him a modern gay icon. And in interviews, he's never shied away from who he is. Troye's mission is clear. He wants to make the world a better place for LGBT people that are to come with every song and project he does. For countless young fans, seeing a pop star live openly from the start was life-changing. No drama, no shame. Just a talented guy sharing his truth and his art. He showed that a male pop idol can sing about his boyfriend, dance in heels, or wear makeup, and the audience will still scream for an encore. By being completely himself, Troye carved out space for a new generation of queer artists to thrive without apology. Drop an 8 if you think Troye Sivan changed the game just by showing up. 9. Max Harwood, the newcomer who put pride center stage. Max Harwood grew up a theater kid in a small English town, dreaming of the spotlight but unsure if someone like him could ever stand in it. He didn't go to an elite drama school or have famous parents, just raw talent and the guts to be himself. When Max landed the lead in Everybody's Talking About Jamie, as a teen boy who dreams of becoming a drag queen, it was more than a role, it was personal. Max poured his soul into Jamie's story of glitter, bullying, and triumph. On screen, he danced, cried, and positively glowed, giving the world a teen hero who was openly and joyfully gay. Off-screen, Max was just as bold. He hit red carpets in eyeliner and heels and basically declared, "I'm here, I'm queer, and I deserve the lead role too." He rejected the notion that queer stories must end in tragedy. His movie was a celebration of queer joy so vibrant it felt, as one reviewer put it, potentially life-saving for the young audiences who saw themselves in him. For every small-town kid who felt different, Max became a beacon. Proof that being authentic can be a superpower. He showed that a gay boy with big dreams can own the spotlight, sparkly prom dress and all, and that pride belongs at center stage. Drop a 9 if you think Max Harwood changed the game just by showing up. 10. Elliot Page, the Hollywood hero who lived their truth twice. Elliot Page's journey is one of Hollywood's bravest. As a young actor, then known as Ellen Page, he earned an Oscar nomination for Juno and seemed to be living the dream. But inside, he was struggling. In 2014, he came out publicly as gay, hoping honesty would set him free. It helped for a while, but it wasn't the whole truth of who he was. In 2020, Page came out again, this time as transgender, finally embracing himself as Elliot. It was a second rebirth, and it saved his life. The pain of hiding had nearly driven him to quit acting. Being honest, he realized, was more important than being in movies. Once he transitioned, he found a joy he'd never felt. "The first time in my life I've been happy," he said, finally comfortable in his own skin. As the first prominent trans male movie star, Elliot's impact is immeasurable. He gave millions of trans and non-binary people someone to see on screen, and showed an industry that had long erased them that their stories belong front and center. He's used his platform to fight for trans rights, becoming a beacon of hope for those who feel unseen. Elliot Page proved that it's never too late to become who you truly are. Even in an industry built on make-believe, he reminded the world that living your truth is the role of a lifetime. Drop a 10 if you think Elliot Page changed the game just by showing up. Curtain call, but the story's far from over. From hush-hush contracts to rainbow-soaked red carpets, Hollywood's closet of secrets just cracked open, and we've only peeked at the first drawer. Which reveal tonight floored you the hardest? Drop the number in the comments, spill your own theories, and let's keep the tea piping hot. If you crave the next jaw-dropping confession or behind-the-scenes queer triumph, smash that subscribe button and clang the bell like you're announcing the after party. Every click widens the spotlight for LGBTQ+ truth, and trust us, the biggest bombshells are still backstage. Stick with Silent Fame, where the whispers get louder, the closets get emptier, and Hollywood finally learns that secrets never stay in the dark.